Tesla stock is down nearly 15% since Trump's inauguration, and it continues to dip. Why, Pejjy? Why? I bought at 400 and now it's going down. I'm scared. I'm really scared, Pejjy. What do I do, man? I'm really scared. Please hold me. Chill. You guys need to chill out. The stock ran up more than 100% since November, since Trump got elected. So some pullback is normal. And in fact, if you've been investing in Tesla for the past 5 years, you're unbothered. In fact, you're probably very happy because you should be up over 600% on your investment. Even if you bought 1 year ago, you're up pretty much 100%. Sheesh! But if you're new, let's say you've been invested for the past 3 months, you're probably shaking, like literally shaking in a bad way. And for you guys, man, buckle up. But there's nothing to worry about if you're invested in for the next 3 to 5 years, for the long term at least. But listen up, in this video, I'm going to be going over some important things they need to know about the company and the stock. Things like what to expect, why the stock is going down, and for how long, and why you shouldn't be worried, but instead embrace this opportunity. It's gonna be a sheesh moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get down to it because we got some things to talk about. Let's go! So first things first, why is the stock going down? I mean, if you look at Palantir and HIMS and all these other stocks, they're all roaring up and all that kind of stuff. But why is Tesla going down? I mean, like since Trump's inauguration, the stock kept dipping until Q4 earnings. That went up a bit. I mean, there was bad earnings report. You know, we got to call a spade, right? It was a bad earnings report. But the outlook was stellar. Man, the outlook, that's what was being priced in. That's what went up 5% after the call, which was a sheesh moment until the tariffs thing started with Canada, Mexico, and China. And the whole market, not just Tesla, but the whole market dumped. And yes, I scooped more Tesla. And I even scooped today when the stock is at what, like 360s or something, which is just anything below 400, guys, in my opinion, is a steal. It's a flippin' buy. And again, this is for long-term investors, not for short-term investors. For long-term investors, oh my goodness, anything under 400 is absolute steal, not financial advice. But the dipping is mainly due to tariffs and the uncertainty that it brings to the market. Now, Canada and Mexico got it delayed for a month, and the market liked that, which we see a little bit of a bounce back, except for Tesla. Tesla is not really having a bounce back. It's actually going lower and lower, and that's for other reasons, and we'll get to that in a bit. But tariffs is a big one because, again, the market doesn't like this uncertainty, and this includes Tesla. And not to mention that Canada and Mexico will retaliate. I made it very clear so that they would, but they're afraid of, they don't want to be tariffed. So they'll do whatever they can to kick the can down the road, and Trump's strategy is working. But here's how it ties in Tesla for some odd reason. Some members of the parliament in Canada are suggesting to tariff 100% Teslas being imported in the country. Like, this is how it gets dragged in because Elon is pretty much part of the government right now. Doge and all that kind of stuff. And with all this happening, Elon going through all the, government stuff that the Biden administration and the Democrats were doing and finding all these things being funded for no reason, like wasteful things, like taxpayers' money going to some stupid things. Like, I don't know, I read somewhere it was like a spa for cats, like millions of dollars. What the heck is that? It was ridiculous. So obviously, some people don't like that. And some of the guys who have connections with one of the top hedge funds don't like that. So they sell off the stock to punish Elon. But it doesn't do it. I mean, it's just so stupid. I'm enjoying these very cheap stock. That's all I'm going to say. But Doge is one thing. Tariff is also one of the main things too. Now, China just got slapped on 10% tariff, but that didn't get postponed, and China retaliated by putting tariffs on US's energy and LNG. I'm not too sure how that'll impact that because they're really dependent on that. Maybe with Russia, they'll get more of it because of that geopolitical thing that's going on. But with China, that 10% addition to 25%. So now they're at 35% tariff since 2018 that Trump put it on. The Biden administration never removed that 25% tariffs. So now it's 35%, which is just crazy. Another thing here is that Trump is thinking to put tariffs on Europe. So tariffs on everyone, and that pretty much is inflationary and does hurt everybody. And this means that interest rates will probably be staying the same for longer or even increasing again, which again is not good for the markets for buying a car because financing and leasing will be a whole lot higher. So especially if Tesla is still known as a car company, even though We see so many exciting things going on with the bot and the FSD and the robo-taxis, which those are the things that we should be eyeing for Tesla, not this car stuff. And if you're invested in Tesla right now, you're invested for the robo-taxi and FSD and the bot, not for this car stuff. So these are the reasons why it's going down. Tariffs, uncertainty, interest rates probably staying the same or maybe going higher due to tariffs being placed on everyone. Doge, because Elon is involved in the government and that impacts a lot of people. As you guys saw, Europe does not like what Elon is doing with trying to get Germany with the right side. And even though that, I don't have any say in this, right? Even though that he believes that that's the right way to go, people are calling him Nazis and he did the salute. Well, he didn't do the salute, but people are calling it the Nazi salute. So all this impacts it, right? All this impacts the Tesla brand, all that kind of stuff, which again, the lower it goes, the more I'm going to buy. And this is why having a long-term mindset in this stock is a must. Because if you don't do it, you're going to get caught up with all this noise and you're going to end up selling at a loss. Don't forget, guys, Tesla stock hit an all-time high 3 months ago. Now it's down 25% from that. And if you bought then, you sold now, well, that's why you should stay away from this stock. It's a warning. It really is a warning if that's how you're going to trade. But if you're in it for the next 5 years, bro, you're going to do really well. You're going to do really well. But here's what to expect. I expect Tesla to continue dipping as the tariffs games continue, because this is going to continue. The Trump is not going to say, oh, yeah, we're not going to stop. No, we have an agenda to fill here. We have a goal to fill here, whether it's China, Mexico, Europe, China, whatever it is, we are going to go with this. And again, it's part of his little strategy that is going on and it's working. You see how Mexico and China caved in and they said, okay, we'll do what you need us to do. Put the troops on the border, the fentanyl, all that kind of stuff. With Canada, it's a little bit different. I think it's more personal with Trudeau, and I don't know, that's going to be for a whole different video. Again, nobody likes Trudeau. I'm Canadian, and nobody likes Trudeau. But once the new government comes in, I think things are going to be a whole lot better. I think Trump will respect these new governments for Canada, and I don't think tariffs would be much of a thing, because it doesn't make sense to tariff Canada. You know what I mean? It doesn't. But nonetheless, as we keep going, this tariff game is going to be a big noise. And the more it continues, the more uncertainty there is for the market. But the market will adapt to that over time. I'm thinking for the next 1 month or 2 months, there's going to be some of this fear and instability, which again is opportunity, right? But here's the thing, why it's going down, right? Here is in addition to that, why it's going down and why I think it's going to continue dipping for the next month or two, at least until Q2 of 2025. Right? Q4, if Q4 came much stronger than what it was, like Q4 earnings wasn't that great, guys. We got to, again, call it, an ace, a spade, right? We got to call it that. It wasn't great earnings. And I think that's what's being, also priced into this stock as well, into the stock price right now. But if it was stronger, the stock wouldn't be in such a downward pressure, in my opinion. In fact, I would argue that the stock would actually be in the 400 still, if Q4 earnings were much stronger than what it was. But it wasn't. So it's hard to justify it. And with all this tariff and fear going on, all this drama, I think there's more downward pressure to go. Now, because of all this, I expect Tesla to keep dipping until mid Q2, potentially going to the mid or low 300s. Now, we're already at the mid 300s, like with 360s, we're pretty much at the 300s. We could see in the low 300s, and if a black swan event happens somewhere, then we could probably go back to the high 200s. I don't think anything lower than that. If you guys remember back in 2024, just last year, the stock was in the high 200s and it went all the way down to 140s, then it shot up to 480. This is a volatile stock and it can go anywhere within a year, which is why you should have more than a 6-month horizon to this stock at 3, 5, 6, 7 years, at least 5 years is in my books. You'll do very well, in my opinion. And data shows that as well, holding it for 5 years. But anything could happen between now until end of this year. Anything could happen, which is why I can see the stock going to the low 300s if things continues the way they are. Another thing is that there isn't any big catalyst coming or happening in these couple months, happening in a month or two. Maybe FSD approved in China before March, but I'm not sure of that. It seems they need more time for that. But because of these reasons, there is more downward pressure on the stock than there is up, which is normal, especially for Tesla. The other thing is that on top of that, I strongly believe that Q2 deliveries and earnings, Q1 deliveries won't be that great because deliveries is looking at the data and stuff like that, because of the Model Y refresh being ramped and changing lines to the old to the new, taking some time for that production to ramp up. It looks like that deliveries for Q1 is going to be in the low 400s or even in the high 300s, which is pretty bad. But if there's any quarter, if you're an auto company or if you're selling vehicles, if there's any quarter that you want to do very bad in, it's in Q1, because Q1 is actually the worst quarter for any of that. But this is a big deal, guys, because the Model Y is the best selling car in the world, not the best selling EV, the best selling car in the world. And when you're Tesla that has this vehicle, 4 or 5 vehicles, products that you're selling, and this particular model is the best selling vehicle of yours, and you can't sell it for 2 out of 3 months, that's gonna show a big impact in your Q1 deliveries and earnings as well. Now, to be clear here, this is not due to demand. This is due to production ramp up. Demand is there. People are loving it. In China, I think there's over 150,000 pre-orders of this already. I'm not too sure about Europe and the US, but I'm sure it's up there. I mean, for crying out loud, this is the best selling car in the world, and will be again this year, by the way. It will be again this year. So Q1 is not going to be the greatest. I think it's going to be very ugly in my opinion. But Q2, Q3, Q4 and onwards, it's going to be absolutely blessing, especially with the Shanghai Megapack factory coming online in Q2. Again, it's starting this month, February 11th, but we won't see the fruit of it until Q2, Q3 and Q4. We'll see the glimpse of it in Q2. But in Q3 and Q4, oh man, it's going to be absolutely flippin' stunning. It's going to be amazing. 2025 is the year of Tesla's energy. We will see how big this thing is going to impact the income statement and the earnings this year. It's going to be absolutely flippin' awesome. So that's what you should expect for the next 4 to 6 weeks with the stock and production and deliveries. It's not gonna be good. This Q1 is not gonna be good, which makes sense why the stock is going lower. I think it's pricing those in. Now, 3, brace for impact, guys. Buckle up, because all this means is that things are gonna be uncertain due to tariffs, including a unimpressive Q1 deliveries and earnings report, which is all, again, like I just mentioned earlier, all being priced in right now. It's all being priced in right now. And for Tesla being valued the way it is, and there's not much interesting things happening for the next quarter or even catalyst, there's a reason why. And with all the noise going on with Doge and tariffs, there's more of a reason for the stock to go lower than higher, at least for the next 4 to 6, 8 weeks. I would say until April is like the max I would give it to. But then you guys got to remember, the market is forward looking. So I do believe that after March and April, we could see an uptick to Tesla due to better quarters ahead, unsupervised FSD, affordable vehicles coming, FSD probably being approved in Europe and China, energy ramp up, so many things happening in Q2 and onwards that it's just, for me, looking at the stock in Q1, it's an opportunity to just load up more shares. That's all I'm going to say, right? Now, I'm taking advantage of this. I'm buying as much as I can, because anything below 400, again, is just an absolutely flippant steal. And just like how I bought Tesla stock on the way down from 2022 to 2023, and that time was a very bad time, but I was having the time of my life buying as much as I could. I shall apply the same strategy that I did then here again. I buy more as it continues. I buy more aggressively as it continues to go lower, because the stock in 2030 is going to be nothing compared to what it is now. And in 2030, we'll look back in 2025 and say, that was a bargain price. That was a bargain flipping price. So, not financial advice, but that's what I'm doing, and that's what I believe in, and that's why I'm an all-in Tesla stock investor. So, embrace it. Embrace it if you're buying and accumulating stock, guys. These short-term noise are just distractions when compared to the long-term scope. Which again, if you're in it for a couple months, you should be worried, because you will lose money. You will lose money. I mean, in fact, if you bought it 2 months ago at the high of 480, you're down 25% within a month or two, while you're seeing other stocks roaring up. This is not new to being a short-term Tesla investor. This has happened for all its years it's been in the stock market. But if you stretch it out and see it long-term, you can't lose having Tesla. You simply just cannot flippin' lose investing into Tesla. Now, going back to the intro of this video. If you held the stock for 5 years, you're up over 600%. And the longer you hold this investment, the wealthier you're gonna get. So I got a question for you. Are you gonna buckle up? And if you're down in the reds, are you gonna buckle up and take the storm, buy the flippin' neck, and dollar cost average down and be a long-term investor? Or are you gonna sell in your negatives, lose money, move on to the next thing, and then once it roars up again and goes back to all-time highs, you're gonna rinse and repeat? That's my question for you. And if you want some answers on what to do in the future, I brought Tesla Tracker here. He told me something very interesting things that you all need to know about. It's a sheesh moment. Check it out, guys. You won't be disappointed. Subscribe, guys. Get your I Bought the Dip t-shirt. And I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.